naangkon hingnaku nga di limot awangon. That's Matunila by Mark Bautista here at 105.1 TMC. Bai Jaya here, everybody. Mag-uban ta ninyo karong taod-taod.
105.1 Thompson Media Center, broadcasting over 2,000 feet closer to heaven.
Okay.
105.1 TMC.
Atong sugdan ang ato ang topic for tonight. Alexa, light into green.
The Studio One isn't responding. Please check if the manual switch is turned on, the device has power, and is online.
Alright, hello sa mga atuang bay diha sa Kuya G, record ko na lang, Kuya G. Gusto ko mag-physically, personally bisita rin sa'yo. Bukas, sana. Not very long, kasi nakakuha ako ng magandang channel of distribution nitong natural na flower infusion at tea. Yan ang gusto ko i-bisita rin sa'yo kanina mag-top by. Magtitisa na tayo kasi alam mo naman, yan ang passion ko eh. Wow. 105 105.1 TMC, the most Cebu. Usa ni siya sa mga finalists sa Visma, mga higala. Gitawag ning kantahan nga Ayaw sa Karon. Maayong gabi sa tanan, sa mga tigpaminaw na tong suki diri sa Tops Media Center or the most Cebu here at 105.1. You have me once again, ang inyong Bai Jaya diri. Kuyog ta hangtod sa alas 10 sa gabi. And I guess all of you who's tuned in, and if you've happened to be familiar, ang atuang tulumanon, most of the time, we call this show Gamut. And the show is all about to root towards your Cebuano heritage. And tonight, and especially if you happen to visit us atuang YouTube na live broadcast, okay? I think right now, if you just happen to be tuned in here at 105.1 TMC, naatay we're posting our topics, whatever our show is all about. You will know that, and if you're on our website, you can see the topic that we will be hosting tonight. And I guess if wala pa mo kadungog, I'd like to share it out with you. What is going to be our topic tonight? And the topic is all about unsa ang atuang trading or unsa ang mga matang sa pagbaligya, no? Trade and barter in Cebu. Trade and barter. Back then, unsa ka rich ang atuang pamaagi sa negosyo or kanang gitawag natud kalakal kaniadto. Back then, how does it look like ang atuang trade and barter here sa Cebu during that time? What was it? How does it look like? Mo na atuang hisgutan tonight from about 7 until 10 p.m. That would be for your indulgence, no? Mga higala. Everybody, mga bay, if you're tuned in here, you are looking at Facebook, you're looking at YouTube, Tops Media Center. Okay? And if you want to message me on our mobile, it's 0999-887-6070. It's 0999-887-6070. If you want to message me on our mobile here, if you have a request, of course, we'll still play our request even if our topic is very interesting. I don't know if it's interesting for you to know unsay mga kalakaran diri, unsay mga pamaagi na to sa pamaligya kaniadto diri sa Takbayan sa Sugbu. And unsay itsura, unsay dagway niining ato ang pagnegosyo diri. In fact, if you happen to be aware and if you are a business, if you're an entrepreneur here sa Sugbu, and a little bit of shout out for all of you who's entrepreneur here in Cebu. Okay, a shout out for all of you. Okay? Kamo diha nga naninguha nga you sustain of yourself and even wanted to share a bit of your passion. Let's say, for example, kanang mga mamaligya mo kape, mga mamaligya mo diha og pagkaong makaayo. Okay? Siyempre naman, di mo sa gaganahan ng mga pagkaong makadaot, di ba? O, di ba? Di man sa na maayo nga mamaligya lang ka diha nga kabaw kang makadaot sa mga tao. Di ba? So anyway, I'll be with you until 10. All right? Remember that. Here sa TMC 105.1, the best of us.
Finally, local music has found a home. 105.1 TMC, the best of us.
Your Cebu mornings just got more real. Real local talk.
You're listening to Top of the Morning. I'm your host. My name is Jiggy Juice. Right across me is Justine Narvios.
Real local music.
March 16, 1521.
Real close to home. Top of the Morning with Jiggy and Justine. Monday to Friday, 8 in the morning to 12 noon. Top of the Morning, only on 105.1 TMC. The best of us.
Basta sa Cebu.
Welcome the new year on top of everybody at Cebu's most iconic landmark, Tops. Together, let's count down to 2025 at the best place to be. Join us at our Grand Countdown Gala at the Tops event space with dinner, entertainment, plus exclusive access to the Sky 360 and get the best view of the entire Cebu's fireworks celebration. The Tops New Year Grand Countdown. Welcome 2025 at 2,000 feet. Closer to heaven at Tops. The Tops New Year Countdown is brought to you by Tops, Montebello Villa Hotel, and 105.1 TMC, the best of us.
Hello, okay. So, here we are, Friday. Friday ka na, mga higala. Biyernes, adlaw danghus. Or no, bailo-bailo. Alright. Siyempre, no, we are going to talk about the scenery here. Kaning people busy trading on the ground. All right. What do you mean? I don't think so. buhat ang kinabuhi.
One 105.1 TMC, the best of us. Moto si Manang Grace Nono, mga higala. If you happen to have not heard of Manang Grace Nono yet, you better really listen to her. She's global, bay. Mga bay, kung wala pa mo mahimamat ni Manang Grace Nono, katong nadunggan ninyo nga gitara, nga nagduyog kaniya, iya tong bana, si bantugan to siyang gitarista, no? Sa mga musikero diri sa Sugbu, bantugang gitarista to siya si Manong Bob Aves. Anhing Manong Bob Aves, mga higala, because he already passed on, I think, if not last year or a couple years ago. And muna nga, ang iyang gipabilin nato katong mga duyog niya. Doon na pati daghang mga gipanghipos nga mga duyog here at TMC for exactly the type of music that you just heard right now. And what else and where else would you hear that but here at TMC, mga higala? Yeah, you will be hearing that mostly here at TMC, especially with me, inyuhang Bai Jaya, mga higala. Alright? Ako ang inyuhang abay. I will be your host and I will, steward you towards our discussion tonight. And what is our discussion tonight, by the way? What is it that you're to hear sa inyong madunggan? I think a lot of you, if you've been tuned in, a lot of you might actually be aware that the center of trade and barter in our country, in our archipelago, is somehow Cebu. If not, napoy usa kaning across us in down in Mindanao, katong gitawag na to Butuan. Okay? I think a lot of you might be aware nga kaning sa pagsugod sa atong sibilisasyon diri, ang nag-una og hatag og kaning gitawag na to trade and barter is not only Cebu but also ang atuang Butuan. Okay? Atuang dakbayan sa Butuan. And for you to know, especially kung bag-o lang ka nakahimamat, if you just happen to hear about this, that our trade and barter scenery kaniadto was really thriving. Everybody, it was really thriving. Okay? And the way I imagine it to be, especially diri sa lugar sa kailan mo dyan mo, carbon, mga higala. Carbon. Di ba? Kita mo sa carbon, unsay itsura. When you're there, when you walk around, I think a lot of you should imagine that. Kanang musod ka sa carbon sa gabi. Okay? Kinsa may ninyo'y mahilig mangarbon diha matag gabi. Kaning muadto sa carbon, mangumpra, kay basig na amoy gitawag nato kaning naamoy negosyo, naamoy kananan. Di ba? I think angay sud siguro mo maka what do you call this? Maka himamat sa carbon, mga higala. Kinsa man ninyo diha ang mga negosyo, adunay negosyo, because most of you would actually buy your raw materials, your raw items, for sure, dito sa carbon, di ba? And so, imagining that, it's really nice that you would hear about how everything looked like back then, right? In our Sugbu, mga higala. And for me to share that to you, it's rather we call this proper nga ako ang i-mention sa inyo when we talk about trade or trading kaning mga kalakal or pagpamaligya kaniadto. And that goes way back sa gitawag nito 12th to 16th century, no? Miagi. ikapulog usa hangtod sa ikapulog unom nga century kaniadto. So siyempre ang inyong mahinumduman yun ani ana kinsa man gyud ang nagdala ng mga kalakal and trading gyud kaniadto nga kusog gyud kaayo. Siyempre the Chinese, no, na sila. Aside from that, the Hindus were also already here and somehow already establishing their trade routes that time. So among the earliest was the Chinese and nagsugod na sila mga ikapulog duha. Right? When say ikapulog duha means 12th century nga nagdala sila unsa man ang ilahang gipangdala nga mga gipang baligya nila kaniadto. Of course, they were selling what you call kaning ato ang mga China ware. I think if you happen to remember kaning mga porcelain, right? I mean, of course, porcelain, imong mga items sa balay, you may have that, no? Kaning ato mga inahan, mga iyaan, mga apuhan, mga lula na to. They kept that in a cabinet. Mostly, you would see that on our gitawag ko Chinese koryo. Mga cabinet sa mga atong mga kalulahan and sa atong mga katiguangan, ato ang mga kaiyaan. Right? And it is a familiar scenario. It's a familiar scene. Every time makakita kag mga tagbalay nato diri, mga Pilipino nga inigsud mo sa balay, nagyo na sila yung mga porcelain. So, mo na bring in and imagine that was what was sold. Unsay na gipamaligya during that time. And gitawag na siya ladlad, mga higala, ladlad. Ladlad is kana bitaw magbutang ka sa daplin sa kilid-kilid og imuhang mga tinda magbukhad ka diha og butang talag banig. Magbukhad ka diha mga panapton, nya ipang patong nimo imuhang mga gipamaligya diha. Ladlad na ang pamaagi kaniadto. And of course, you would have, again, as I mentioned to you, ang gipang baligya sa mga inchik ana mga panahona is, syempre, mga porcelain, kaning panapton nga gitawag na to silk, mga higala. Diba? Mga silk. Kinsa pa yung nahinumdum sa unsa pa na ilang gipamaligya. I think na gini mga alahas, no? For sure, na gini sila yung mga alahas, mga higala. Bert! Mahayong gabi Dali, apili, kuyog diri, ato ning hisgutan karong gabi ang ato ang hitsura, dagway, hulagway sa ato ang pagkalakal or pagpamaligya, pagnegosyo diri sa dakbayan sa Sugbu kaniadto. Unsay hitsura kaniadto. Unsay ato ang makita, no? Karon sa akong gihisgutan in the 12th century, kapulog duha, no? Sa ato ang dakbayan sa Sugbo kaniadto ang mga insik ang nagsugod ang nailhan gyud nga nagsugod nga nag-una og pagnegosyo diri kaniadto. So unsa pa to ang ilahang mga gipamaligya diri. Ang mga lugar di nga ilahang gipamaligyaan, no, commonly I think ang area nga gimension diri is pinakasikat nga area nga gitawag na to Tabuan, mga higala. Tabuan daw na nahitabo. So, if any one of you nga nakadungog ani, if you just heard of this, Tabuan is one of our oldest markets diri sa Cebu City, sa dakbayan sa Sugbo. You come and visit and you go and visit there. Obviously, makita kag mga buwad, mga buwak, and other items that you will buy. And it's considered a really established market. Nara manultol ng mga tao kay diha man ang mga bot ng mga buwad gikan sa bantayan or giindiin gikan nga mga gipang kumprahan, no? And a lot of other items are available there. So when the Chinese was doing that, of course, you would expect as well musunod yun na ang ato ang mga Bisaya, right? For the proper term, the Bijayans or the Shri Bijayans. Musunod po na sila. They would also follow through with the trading and but most of what is going on there and those that specializes in this trading is definitely the Chinese, okay, and they've influenced us a lot. And during that era, syempre, that's where a lot of us get to also share in our culture, our traditions, our belief systems, And definitely there is a cultural assimilation. Ang gitawag na cultural assimilation, there is what you have kanang mga mag-share ba, magbahin-bahin sila mga pamaagi ba. And that is what is the scenery. Muna siya itsura. And muna yung ako ang mention to you because you might actually just have tuned into the radio right now here at TMC at 105.1. You are listening to the show we call Gamut here with Bai Jaya, mga higala. And that our show is all about letting you know and letting you remember the sights and sounds and the sceneries of our old Cebu, our Sugbu, mga higala. And at the same time, getting you back to the heritage of who we are, establishing you back to our identity as Cebuanos. All right, so here we go. We continue on, and as we welcomed our visitors during the time of Sri Raja Humabon. Okay? And that was the time na ni-visit ang ato ang higala during the time, and the introduction, or let's say the early visits of we call, he's not really Spanish, but he was supposedly Portuguese. He is Magellan. And that was when everything started to come in. And that is ikapuluk unum, that's 16th up to pulut siyam nga century ago. And the arrival of the Spanish came in, and somehow this is now a little change in the scenery, if you might happen to imagine. For the lack of a visual context here, I know a lot of you are listening and tuned in through your radio and maybe on our online radio. Kato lang mga nasa YouTube, I'll try to share to you later on how it looks like, how everything would look like during those times. And I'll pull it up. I think I have a little gamay nga tablet here nga akong gidala-dala, and you can actually see that that scenario what I was talking about. Murag kani kasagaran wala naman there's no evident picture during that era, obviously. Okay. And only you will see our drawings for sure. Okay? For the benefit of those who's locked in sa atong YouTube, mga YouTubers nato, YouTubers, and those of you tuned in through our Tops Media Center here in YouTube, definitely, yeah, I'll give you a share of a visual para natin ma-imagine ba diri sa ato ang gitawag nga kanang hulagway about our scenery in, trading, no, here in our Sugbu. And of course, I'm telling you the story of Sugbu, mga higala, because where are we? Sugbu man ta, we're in Cebu. And that's definitely one of our main concern. Otherwise, I would be talking about Manila, I would be talking about Davao, and or Negros or Bohol in that respect. But we're not there. I mean, I could share to you in behalf of that, but I'm here. I'm even broadcasting here at Tops, man. Here at Tops. Right? Shout out to everybody in Tops, the top of Cebu. We have all the staff possibly tuned in right now with their radios on, and they usually ask to be greeted. Mayong gabi ninyong tanan, mga kaigsuuna na to diri sa top of Cebu. And at the same time, those of you who's driving, I'd like to say hi and take it easy. I know it's a Friday. I know it's rush hour. And I'm sure that you are now challenged sa inyong pag-drive diha pauli. Okay? And mo na yang ato ang that's also part of what we're doing here, is to make you feel that you're okay. You're at home. You're in Cebu. You are doing fine. You're doing well. Okay? And that's why here, I also happen to be privileged enough to be sharing with you the frequency kaning sa ato ang Sibianan nga ani ako gaabay ninyo o gauban ko ninyo para na ako'y mabahin ka ninyo. Ang inyong kuyog diring alagad si Bai Jaya mga higala, no? Nga ang ako ang tuyo aron mapahinumdum ko kamo sa atoang sugbo. Kanhing sugbo mga higala. Alright? And unsa pa'y inyo angay mahibalan about Cebu. Right? Definitely, this is one thing nga ako agyong panamas not really that big pangandoy, okay? Pangandoy nga maabot nga kamo kita ninyo mag-uban o karon ani ana kini ana ang ato ang sugbo mga higala, no? So unsa pa man day lain atong i pabatsyag kaninyo diha. Siyempre ani ana ang atoang sugbo, ani ana ang atoang kabisayan, ug ani ana kita sa TMC mga higala. Ug unsa pay maayong buhaton kundi paminaw na to ang atong kanta na ani ana uban sa atong Manoy Joey Ayala. Here sa Gamut at TMC, kuyog inyong Bai Jaya mga higala, the best of us.
All right, do shout out everybody. If you need a shout out, message me. Here's YouTube. I need to pull out this one. ng Aniya na! Kuyog ang atong Manong Joey Ayala, mga igala. That is the song from Joey Ayala at ang Bagong Luman. Kaya ang iyang background po, no?
ng kung imo paminawon mura kag naa gyud sa merkado nga nagiskot ka diri namili ka sa imong mga palitunon ani ana mga higala ani ana mo because this is definitely what the show is all about. This is definitely what Gamut is all about, and also why TMC allowed us to host this show for you. Okay? Ain't that for you? That's muna yung atuang as a Sugbuanon, as a Cebuano, and the most Cebu radio station here. Enough for you to really get the most out of our culture. Okay? And ang atong mga higala diri nga naminaw, ang akong gihisgot diri kaninyo is about ang atuang hulagway and the scenery of the trading or the trade and barter or mga pamaligya sa Sugbu, no, kaniadto. Again, I already mentioned to you, and it rings a bell. It ring a bell. ang gitawag nimo ang lugar nga Tabuan. Okay? Anybody nga wala pa kaadtog Tabuan, I'd like to invite you over to visit Tabuan. Okay? Not only Carbon, okay? Not only your nearby kanang merkado, okay, as far as the what do you call this, the language is concerned, kaning tabo ba mao man pasabot sa ato kani adtong pamulong nga Bisaya. Tabo means the market, okay, and that's where they would put the market or the product that they're about to sell dito sa Tabuan. Okay, mo nang sikat yun or maayo good nga term that you get into the word or a word for the day is Tabuan, mga higala. So, katong mga pakatug-katug Tabuan, pamisita mo dito palihog. Bisita mo dito. Okay, wala pa mo kaadto, no? And mo nang ato ang ilado nga kuan kumprahanan sa Sugbu. All right, Sugbu, everybody. All right, and let me just try to fill in whatever is needed here. Yeah, I'd like to kind of like play a little background nga kuno nasa. All right, so unsa pa ni mga items nga gipamaligya at that time? Right, aside from porcelain ware, and for sure naa na tay mga kaning isda daghan kay babaya mo nga kaning kita puyo dool sa dagat ilado ta nga suhito o adunay kaalam about our knowledge. We are skilled and knowledged enough for facing the ocean and gathering ocean food, I would say, no? So seafood, definitely seafood, right? You got dried seafood also available diha sa Tabuan, no? And mo man na siya nga iladog gyud na siya kanang buwad diha sa Tabuan. Aside from that, we have weaving, okay? Weaving culture, and we have the whole native wares, I would say. And again, ako ang mga higala diri sa YouTube, they're also contributing. Like, may akong classmate diri si Bert. Ang anhing lula ko nun niya, ay, meat vendor daw. Meat vendor, wow! Sa Tabuan, dekada 70, antud sa 90. Naagyoday kay kuan diha, Bert. Naagyoday kay heritage that in that respect diha sa Tabuan. No, nana kay gikan pa sa imong lula, nana kay gigamot na ka diha di ay. Nana kay pusti kumbaga nga natukod diha sa Tabuan. So native wares kay you know kanang mga nigo na because our weaving culture is related also sa ato ang panagat, right? I think everybody is aware nga sa panagat nato kanang mga pukot-pukot nga mapalit ni muro nga PC plastic. I don't think that's there before. Everybody was using indigenous materials. Okay? Native indigenous materials, and these are used to create baskets and fish nets. Definitely, I'm sure they've used ropes and other materials that time, but definitely you could imagine kaning mga indigenous people when they are going to catch seafood and they're creating their traps, kanang magitawag ni maglitag laang nato diha, or traps in general. You would know na it is coming from a native material. So from there, diha po na nahimo ng mga ato mga sudlanan sa itong pagkaon, right? And if you happen to be familiar with it, you get the picture. Hello, langga. Hello, langga. I'd just like to greet my wife right now, everybody. She's tuned in. Oh, yeah. And feel free. You tell me also a little bit input. Maybe I don't know everything, but I'm trying to share what I'd like to share about the Hulagway, the scenery of Sugbu, kani adto sa tuang mga Tabuan. Right now, other than that, I think I mentioned to you about the fabric, right? Chinese brought in the silk and fabric. So definitely textiles. Mga panapton. Because weaving culture was also part of it then. Right? You should also look into the relationship, di ba, na natay mga native crafts kanang mga made of mga gitawag nimo abaka, made of almost every mga type of branch or root or twig. Ginabuhat na niya, even the palm, in the cocoa fiber, right? And imagine that, ang kanang mga dahon sa lubi. And if you imagine, visualize Hawaii and the Polynesian Islands. And I mentioned to you sa Martes pa lang, mayaging Martes, about the story of the Polynesian Islanders, and almost everybody there is our story as well, because we come from the same origins and we share this whole connection of our roots. In fact, we are their ancestors, everybody, as an Austronesian race. Look into the Austronesian race. Diha na magsugod mga higala kanato mga gitawag Filipinos karon. We were the Austronesian origins, and somehow when we left Taiwan, all right, and anyone who's eager kung kinsa gyud ganahan gyud mo mukalot diha sa atuang kinaadman, our knowledge about our past, this is what the show is all about. All right, and I'd like to share this with you with passion and conviction, everybody. All right, moving back, no, naanatay mga native wear, nasa tayo mga native weaving. So weaving was there that time. Weaving. Naghimo na dag kanang mga items nga panapton, made of different fabrics, fibers as well. No, I'm sure cotton is a part of it, and of course, if you go visit kaning atuang mga what do you call this? If you go visit these indigenous peoples we have very evident. You go to Mindanao, you go to Luzon. I think in the Panay region also, they also have kani mga panapton nato nga woven yun of the community. When it's really hand woven, you would see and you have a glimpse. You will have a glimpse unsa na ato mga panapton. And right now, with all the respect to trading on the globalization, daghan na tag mga different items that are available and being sold that is not anymore done by hand. It's done in a machine. It's done in a machine, and then mostly the materials used are, of course, man-made and synthetic. Okay? So kalahi na to sa una kaning atong mga gipanggamit nga mga materials o mga raw materials in building these items. Now, mga panapton nga gamito na to sa panulob nato, and the way we are covering ourselves, and with all due respect to the way we have our clothing practices before, a little bit we're bare. Napatay bareness. Napatay pagka-nude that time. Of course, kay naatay tradition as well. And that was one of our topics back then sa Gamut. I think it was in the previous episodes. We discussed about and we were sharing about how we looked like. How we looked like before. And that goes to where you look at a lot of the mga pictures na lang that we were definitely marked. Pintas. Kanang sa in the Spanish term, pintados. In our local term, we call batikan. Batik. Batik means marked. When you hear the word batik, it means mark. And another term for that in our local dialect is patik. Mga patikan. So kanang word nga patikan, mga higala, mga bay, mga classmates sa YouTube, is definitely one of the terms that was dropped and was not really used. But there are indigenous peoples that are aware of that and are still standing by that name. Right now, as we speak, in some areas of the Visayas, okay? And yours truly, I also stand by that indigenous affiliation. We call Batikan, mga higala. Batikan. So, when you mention, Manggod, the word Batikan, it is of a very high regard, no? To share this to everybody who's tuned in right now, when you hear the word Batikan in our local sense, in our dialect, it means something really, really respectable. Kanang, it's deemed with high regards. Batikan. When you hear somebody mention, usa na siya kabatikang mang-aawit. Ha? Usa siya kabatikang manunulat. Okay? Mung makadungog gani kag word nga batikan means it is a renowned individual. Everyone. A renowned personality. Okay? And of course, ang paghatag na to og pasidungog ni ana is with really high respect. So, para nato and to put our morals up as a Sugbuanon here, Batikan is our identity. Batikan, usa kita ka batikang mga tao. Right? Ain't that a really unique way of looking at ourselves in our pre-colonial past? And anyway, let me move forward, okay, with how we looked and how our markets looked like that time. And what else are we selling in our markets, by the way? No? In the areas, may imagine niyo, tabuan or like carbon right now. So we have, aside from that, siyempre, kay mananom magyuta, nagud tayo mga tanom, mga pamaligya. Makita man na nimo hantud karon. Natay gipamaligya nga mga tanom nga ig tatanom. All right? Oh, bakat day tawagan na sakto-sakto mga bakat ba kanang native weaving. Bert, I'm just reviewing. I mentioned about the native crafts. Bakat, yes, kanang mga gamiton sa nang bakat not only for sudlanan sa mga gulay, no? Kung moadto ka sa Dumanhog, Mantalongon, di ba? Sudlan man ng mga bakat. Or even if you go up to Busay, when we encounter the farmer culture here, medyo na kuan lang ni Ron, medyo it's becoming a little bit more common, and we don't really pay attention anymore because we have an access through the Trans Central Highway nowadays just to pass by. But you may have overlooked a lot of these native crafts. Kanang bakat nga gi-mention ni Bert. Yeah. The bakat is not only for carrying gulay, it might also be used to trap kaning mga isda. There's a specific term for that, but it looks almost the same as the bakat. Kaning ato ang mga native crafts, everybody. All right, so going into the items that was sold, na natay mga gipang konsod, gipang baligya nga igtatanom because they understand nga, kani murag may ni itugsok na lang ni diretsyon niya, makahatag ni og. Of course, they would look at ang mga kasagaran kaniadto. We are not so much into the plantitas and plantitos that happened during the time of the pandemic, di ba mga higala? LOL! Di ba? And we were mostly aesthetics nowadays, right? Aesthetics in a way that we are very, and that's our nature already way back in the past. We're aesthetic. Imagine this. Aside from being batikan, having a lot of marks in your skin, you also have gold wherever, man. A little example where I have right now, nananaw diri sa YouTube. Ako lang tingog-tingog ni para you could hear. Okay? Mga higala na to diha, mga bay sa YouTube. I'm wearing a type of wear that has a remnant of what is the past, but not totally. Okay? Of course, I don't want to be wearing a prehistoric or pre-colonial wear at the moment, but there is hints sa akong pagpanulob diri what I'm wearing most of the time, right? Wherever I go. If you see Bai Jaya anywhere here, everybody, makakita ka na niya nga nagpudong. He's wearing a head wrap, okay? And there are a lot of meaning into the head wrap that he's using because it's not anymore practiced so much right nowadays, except that kung naa kay mga higala na to, kauban na to diha nga mga panday, I'm sure you will see them wearing their head wraps because it's very functional. They use it for them to work, and they use it to protect themselves and support them in kay magsingot man maigo man ang mata nimo. Magtrabaho ka, dili mabasa ba? And the modern days right now, a lot of people are wearing headbands. Okay, mo nang mga gipang gamit sa sports. And sa una, para wala na'y hassle, we have that pudong aside from the other uses and the other purposes for pudong, everybody. All right, so mo na nga itong hitsura, no? And yours truly, you would see me as I walk around, and wherever I go, you would somehow see me wear pudong. In terms of just to honor the traditions, mga higala, just to honor the traditions. And again, if you just tuned in right now, you tune into 105.1 TMC, the most Cebu, ang pinakasugbuan ng Sibyaanan sa Dakbayan, uban ng inyong Bai Jaya. And our show is all about us, Gamut, diri sa TMC. No? Takna na karon, alas 7:50, kapitong takna o 5:10 sa kagabion, mga higala, 7:50 in the evening. And of course, here with Bai Jaya, coming with you joining you every Fridays, diri sa TMC. And of course, a lot of our discussions are based on what is ours. Unsay atua. Munay akong gipanghisgutan diri. Unsay atua and unsay angay natong hisgutan in terms of what we might have forgotten. Unsa man gani na atong nakalimtan na diri sa atuang kinaugalingon kultura. And our culture is deemed so. So everybody here who's listening in, you're watching the replay, and by the way, shout out to some of my friends right now who's listening right now in the evening. Shout out to my friend, brother Tudor Bong Hanoi and Carissa May, and together. They're the behind the Vegan Island. Vegan Island. Shout out to these folks, my good friends, Tudor and Carissa May of Vegan Island, Cebu. They are in El Corso, in SRP. You can visit them. Kinsa tong mga those of you who are tuned in nga ganahan bitaw nga mag healthy lifestyle and who wants to transition into that, Vegan Island can offer you so to make you feel that you did not even do the transition. Di mo makabantay ana mga higala nga nakakaon na ka og healthier day, pero nakaon na gyapon kag mga common nga mga dishes that you know nga of course nakaibaw mo nga that it causes a lot of things like cholesterol buildup and all these things. And if you go to Vegan Island, they have what is it for you healthier mga higala. All right. And at the same time, I'd say hi to my Kuya G. Kuya G, Doc Romy Paredes. Oh yeah. I'm saying hi to my friends right now nga saludo po ko. Bantugan, Batikan po ni mga tawhana. Doc Romy Paredes, he owns Wellness Land. So kung naamoy mga kaning, he's behind Wellness Land. Kung naamoy mga sakit-sakit and if you need help in terms of that, go visit Romy Paredes. Yeah? And it's in Zapatera. Zapatera. You can go to the Zapatera area. I forgot the specific road. Muliko ka sa tuo on the way to Colon or Sikatuna, and you'll find it there. Wellness Land. Mga higala, you visit Wellness Land for all of your doubts and queries about your health and nature ang pamaagi. And that is Romy Paredes, everyone. All right. And at the same time, I would like to say, I'd like to greet mahandumong adlawng natawhan sa ako ang usa ka higala karon, no? I'd like to say happy birthday to this guy na medyo kuha na ni siya. Kung ako diri nagsibya kaninyo, usa po ni siya ka mangsisibya ngadto sa Dumaguete. I'd like to say happy birthday to my friend and igsoon, Nikki Dumapit. Happy birthday, Ray Nikki. Igsoon, Nikki, happy birthday. Alright, malipayong adlaw natawhan kanimo diha igsoong Nikki. Because this guy, I'd like to also say that he's creating an impact right now. Creating impact nga dili impacto ha, but creating an impact in terms of our culture kay daghan ni siya og kaayuhang gihatag sa lugar diha sa Negros Oriental mga higala. Just saying hi sa mga tao sa Dumaguete. I think if you're tuning in our web radio, you'll be hearing from us anywhere in the Philippines for sure. And that's a guarantee. Right here in TMC, we are all over the world if in that respect. So, Bai Nikki, happy birthday dia. Okay? You are doing really great sa atong kultura, and I'm also just echoing the whole effort, no? All effort to help preserve our heritage and our culture. Bai Nikki Dumapit, everybody. And happy birthday. Malipayong mahandumong adlaw na tawahan kanimo igsuon. And so, as we move with our Gamut show tonight, we're done with our first hour, I'm sure. And for all of you who's just tuned in, feel free. You air out any comment or any suggestion to me on our mobile. I'll be more than happy to hear from you. It's 0999-887-6070. Again, 0999-887-6070 for your message or request, or maybe some suggestions, or maybe comments about what I'm talking about in this show tonight. Unsay inyuhang ganahan ipabatyag, ipamati, o iauhag kanamo diri nga nagsibya kaninyo. Let me know, right? In our mobile and our YouTube, you join in. It's at Tops Media Center. Click on the live broadcast we have right now. I'm over there. And if you're wondering how everything looks like in our setup over here, that is the space to be. And when I play the songs, you would normally not hear us talking, but in our YouTube broadcast, you will definitely hear us in our broadcast, everybody. All right, for the meantime, let's go to music. TMC Gamut. All right, by the way, I'd like to stop that music right now. It's still playing on the background. Let me just try to work on a little bit of that music right now. Here's okay, let me, when you're trying to mix up some of the music stream we're going on, you definitely have a mix with everything. Anyway, here we go. Here's Mampor and Me One, the TMC Gamut with Bai Jaya, mga higala. The best of us.
I'll try to play that again later. Ay, nako, and down. I'll try to repeat that song. Hey! Ay, Papa! Ikaw, Papa! Isa man eh. Jaguar! Mampor and B with the song 1. Here at 105.1 TMC.
Uban inyong Bai Jaya mga higala diri sa inyong sibianan sa radyo o sa YouTube o sa website sa topsmediacenter.com. And not only that, we are all over the world through the radio. And if you need to review or watch us again or listen to us again, tune in to our web radio, www.topsmediacenter.com. And here's the Tops Media Center through YouTube. We're live. All right? Hello to Jaguar. Hi. Hello. Mayong gabi diha. And welcome to our show. Salamat sa pag-uban. All right? Nindot, you know what's so good right now in the modern era ba? Like being a broadcaster or usa ka tigsisibya, no? Or tigpama ba? As an announcer, is that I'm not imagining things. I am now interacting with you. It's good that you're interacting with me. Like especially to those of you who are tuned in right now, I just mentioned to you, it's like simple text. You can message me, and I'd love to hear from you. Here's a TMC. We want to be able to reach you. We want to be able to talk to you. You can message me at our mobile 0999 887 6070. If you just hear this, let me say it again 0999 887 6070. All right? If you want to send the greetings to whoever, maybe celebrating their birthday, anniversary, or even what? Christmas party! Mga Christmas party diha, mayong gabi o mayong pagselebrar. Alright? Congratulations sa inyong lipay-lipay diha karong gabi una mga higala. And whoever you are or whichever organization you are right now. Okay? Happy celebration over there. Alright? And let me go back to the topic that I was carrying over here, ganina, ever since we started. Our Gamut is going on, and definitely we have this show happening from 7 p.m. sa gabi up till 10 p.m. Okay? And ato ang hisgutan, and I started this topic tonight, which is trade and barter sa Sugbu. Unsay hitsura, unsay hulagway, and the scenery of trading, ang pagpamaligya, ang pagkalakal, ang pagnegosyo kaniadto diri sa Sugbu. And a lot of you have already heard that on our first part kanina. If you want to hear that again, feel free to watch this video later on. You see this right now as live on our YouTube broadcast, but you can review this later. Definitely review. We have tons of shows already. Okay? You got tons of shows already we aired over here at YouTube, right? And also, if you want to get updates from our shows, and you know how to do that. Modern times, man, calls for modern ways. You subscribe, click the bell button. You know what I mean? when you follow people, you know, it's good to follow and have this following going on, especially to support local, right? Everybody support local, man. Come on. Support local. I'd like to really encourage ang atong gipampatugtog diri, gipampatukar diri, puro Bisaya na mga higala. Our music is Bisaya. And a lot of us, if you notice, maminaw ka sa radyo, yeah, there's Filipino generally. But of course, you would hear mix of either Tagalog and most likely OPM, right? If you hear OPM, some OPM gani? What's it gonna OPM? Original Papa Ball music. Okay, original Papa Ball music. Maybe tayo. It's original Pinoy music. Mao nang ilang gipasabot ni ana, no? And kung kamo makadungog ana, of course, most likely kasagaran ana Tagalog. Di ba, no? And Tagalog and kaning mainstream ang good nato, it's we tend to understand that Filipino is Tagalog. Let me just give a really good clarity of perception about it, if you don't mind me sharing that to you all. Let's try to clarify. Clarify, what do you mean by Filipino language? Right? Segue ko gamay ha. I want to shift a little bit our topic tonight, which is about trade and barter. But since we're here and we're trying to give you the best of our experience here, just being able to listen and hear what we're trying to talk about in our show tonight in Gamut, I'd like to share, when you say Filipino, it doesn't mean Tagalog. Okay? When you say Filipino, it doesn't mean Bisaya. And it doesn't mean Waray, Hiligaynon, Surigao, and so on and so forth. The language that we're trying to put out there in the open, that term, Filipino language, I think a lot of you know already, mga nagtuon diha, mga senior high school, and everybody there. When you say Filipino, it's now an integration of all of our dialects. Nga, when it comes out in the open, inigkahisgot nimo, it's basically understandable and relatable to everybody. So when you say Filipino language, or let's just say when you say you talk in Filipino, kung asa ka nagtunob, asa ka nagbarog, when you're standing in Bisayan grounds, definitely you relate to a Bisaya. You relate to a Bisaya language. You relate to a Bisaya dialect in that respect. So this goes out to everybody. There's a tendency, Manggod, that Filipinos think they speak always in Tagalog. I'd like to air this out and shout out to all of the Tagalogs out there. Mga naminaw, and those who are tuned in who are speaking, or Tagalog speakers, native Tagalog speakers, I would say. All right, who does live in the region of Luzon and generally speaks Tagalog. And shout out also to the people in Davao. And I'd like to really air this out to all of you. Mayong gabi, Jerry Tansinko. Welcome. And I'm continuing the line of thought here I'm trying to share. Again, when you say Filipino, it is not imperative that it is a Tagalog dialect. Okay? Klaruhon na to na Filipino, kung asa ka nagbarog, kung asa ka naghalin, asa ka gikan, you speak what is appropriate to that region. You speak what is relatable and understandable to that region para magkasinabot mo. Kay kung naa ka diha, imog yung pugson nga Tagalog ka, bisag di nakasabot og Tagalog imong kasturya, asa makaibutang. LOL! Ha? Kung saan man yung pagkasinabot, ana, ina nagtuo kag makasabot din na sila. Okay? I'd like to clarify that to all you tuned in right now and listening in. Filipino is not Tagalog per se. Okay? It is not limited to Tagalog, and it is not even imperative as Tagalog. Remember that all the time. Because right now, as the most Cebu as we are, we would like to make sure that we get ourselves a clarity of perception here. Nga, klaro na to kung kinsa ta. Klaro na to ug unsa ta. Nga nag-share ta ninyo, I'm broadcasting live with you. I'm using both languages right now. Of course, in English kunuhay ko diri. But of course, because a lot of us are already akin to using the language called English. But for a purpose nga, ikuyog na ko, i-weave through na ko what is common. Of course, I could also speak in the Tagalog language. Kayang-kaya naman natin yan. All right? But I'd like to make sure that there is no regional differences going on in this whole broadcast, especially that Tops Media Center is the most Cebu radio station here. All right? And definitely, we want to try to promote what is Cebu. Okay? And so, if you're wondering why Cebu? Why only Cebu? We're talking only about Cebu because you're here. You're tuned into the radio station that is the most Cebu. And you are standing where you are. You understand Cebuano. You understand Bisaya. That's why we're talking about it. Going back to our show, everybody, that we kind of like segued, and okay, I happened to just step a little bit on the side para lang maklaro na to sa tanan ba. Why and what is it I am talking about in terms of the topic we have in the show. Again, trade and barter and the way the scenery goes diri sa Sugbu. I was talking about it earlier, and again, if you want to listen and hear that and even watch us live over here, we got our YouTube page. Do like and subscribe to us there, and you'll hear more about it. And you can also watch our previous episodes. And this is basically like a podcast, everybody. Our previous episodes has everything there, the title, and even which date we aired it. So you'd remember if you are tuned in, also joined in on our live stream, and you've joined in our chat room, you will see yourself. You would see yourself interact, and you would hear from us here. All right? And so we go back to the topic we have on hand right now as I aired it, trade and barter sa Sugbu, because we were known to have this very this is a common called scenery, or let's say a landmark, that when you talk about Cebu and even Butuan, I don't wanna make you miss out on Butuan, because the two happen to be in the same timeline altogether in the way we have established trade and barter, or the trade routes. Kung diin na mundunggo ang mga sakayan, and diin na sila when they're selling all these goods and items for food and for clothing and even for shelter. All right? And we got some more topics to air out, especially here in Gamut for you. And of course, I don't want to miss out on anything. If you want to let me play also some music here, I'd like to play more music, by the way. And especially that this is a radio station. We're just taking a little bit of time. Ang ato ang gikuha nga panahon aron sa matagaan mog paglamdag. And definitely we got shows like Lamdag here with our Sir Mimo Osmeña and our Jiggy Juice happening here in TMC. We got a whole array of shows happening here at TMC. So feel free, by the way, to scan out, listen in, and tune into our shows. You can tune in to that again in our YouTube broadcast. Let me try to listen into our classmates here, mga higala na to, right? Ang mga slaves, or we call alipin. Ito, oh my God. This one I never mentioned. That's correct, by Bert. Trading of slaves. That sounds a little bit demeaning, right? But, of course, we got to start to also mention that a little bit. Unsay itsura ba? Kay mo na hitsura. Yeah, Bert, very, very good contribution ba. Salamat sa pag-ambag niya na. Because that time, it was predominant that there is the slave culture. Slave culture is evident. And that you would see them na ginadihay mga tapok sa mga tao nga medyo bulingit-bulingit gamay kay, or maybe not, but they will be available for sale. So the slave culture may also be there. Pero I'd like to also clarify that, Bert, about which specific timeline, if that's 12th or 13th century. But yes, the more older we go, the slave culture was very evident. Di ginamalikayan. They might not look like how the movies portray them to be. Nga kanang kanang higot yun. I don't think they'd be on the chains at that time. Maybe a more sturdier rope, I would say, or maybe not. Okay, again, benefit of the doubt, mga higala. Ato ang ablihon na tong panghuna-huna nga posible nga dili na mao ang itsura nila ni adto. No? It might be different. Pasindig naghinambid na diha, nagpungko na diha, no? Ang mga gitawag na tug ulipon, right? The slaves or alipin in Tagalog, ulipon, uripon sa Bisaya. Okay? And thank you for that sharing, Bert. And what do you know? Okay? Those of you who tuned in and might want to, contribute. I'd like to say good evening also, by the way, to my friend there, Ramil Cabuenas. Good evening there, Ramil. May gabi there. May gabi to you. Ramil Cabuenas. Our mga classmates na to dire. I consider you man classmates. Why do I call you classmates? Because sa akong pagtungtong dire sa Sibianan, no? Pagkupot na ko sa ako ang pagpangandam na ko dire sa akong pagsibya, no? Sa pagpamaba na ko dire. Akong pagtanaw man gud ninyo, you're my classmates. Parehaning nito nga karon, classmates yun ako tinuod. si Dan Brian Herrero. Ako lagi ng classmate kaniadto. Classmate ako sa high school, sa mga kaulitawhan pa nato. Dan Brian, may gabi ba? Our topic for tonight definitely is your cup of tea. Ang pagnegosyo kay negosyante ni si Dan Brian. I'm sure negosyante niya akong higala. Ato ang itsura hulagway sa kalakaran kaniadto during or before the era of the Spanish. By mo'y nahigala na hitabo. Sa mga happy birthday pa magyapon eh. Mo'y nahitabo kaniadto. So ang ato ang pagbaligya mo to naabot na mi sa topic diri nga gihisgutan nga unsay mga pamaligya diha na apil po din ng mga gitawag na to mga ulipon. Okay? So ang kuan man paminaw, no, medyo dili kayo kaning maayo paminawon pero mo na di nato ikalimod. Di nato na ikalimod, no, nga mao ginaing mo makita sa mga hulagway diya sa ato ang mga gitawag og kanang excuse me, ang ato ang mga merkado tabuan. Okay? If you happen to remember the word tabo, muna ato ang merkado nga pamulong or term in Bisaya is tabuan. Okay? And again, if you want to air out a message or suggest or comment on what I am discussing to you all and sharing to you tonight diri sa Gamut, message me. 0999-887-6070. I'm yet to hear from anybody here. I'm usually hearing from some people here like Joel Lim, Kan Patis. I'm usually hearing from these mobile partners or mobile friends. They're also on YouTube at the same time. But I haven't heard from them. Mostly karon mga panahon na we're now on our mobile devices. So YouTube is the way to be. And we have our online radio at the same time. So for you who's tuned in, might want to join in. No? Basta ganahan mo appeal diri sa atong panaghisgot, sibya diri sa YouTube na live stream sa atong chat room. Feel free to join us here, everybody, at Tops Media Center in our chat room. You can join us while we are discussing this topic of trade and barter sa Sugbu. Okay? And if you happen to miss this tonight, feel free to review or look back on our stream. We got all the shows. Go to our YouTube page at Tops Media Center. And right now, if you happen to ask, where is our station located? We are located at the top of Cebu. We are the top of the top of Cebu. Above 2,000 meters. Close to the heavens already, according pa sa ato ang commercial here sa top. So we're broadcasting here And I could see the city lights happening right now. As I look around, you got the skyline, you got the city lights. See, I could see the ocean from here. So I have a little bit of an eagle eye vision or eagle eye sight there. No? Hindi ko wala ko napasuya ninyo ha. Pero I'm just sharing to you how it looks like over here. Dire as I do the broadcast over here and how it feels like. And if you want to also schedule a visit to our studios, send us a message. We are available. You can go to our Facebook to send us a message. Again, you can also message us through our mobile line. Okay? And we would be more likely opening and welcoming you over here for a visit and schedule you for that visit, everyone. Okay. So for the meantime, as I continue on the show, there are some songs I'd like to play, and I happen to have played it earlier but missed out on that. And here you go. Only here at TMC 105.1, Gamut with Bai Jaya, mga higala. The best of us. Oi, what happened there? Be right back. I'll be right back. That was Madam Susan Fuentes, mga higala, sa kanta niyang Sa Kabukiran. And that song is just a little bit of remnant nga ang ato ang syempre ato ang dakbayan. Our islands has the mountain, and that speaks of the scenery in the mountain, no? And I happen to play that with you. And as I promised, no, katong mga naminaw sa YouTube, and I just mentioned that na ako'y ipakita ninyo nga mga hulagway sights and scenes of the whole trade and barter, no? And I'd like to share this in our YouTube. I think I can just flash it over here. Na ako'y gidala-dala diri nga gadget. This is one of the sceneries. Again, I mentioned nga wala pa ng mga hulagway nga gikan sa kamera. There's no technology that time. You're looking at 12th century. Okay, kapulog duha. On our history books, so you don't have that for sure. But as I am sharing here, okay, akong akong gitanaw ron. Medyo delayed man niya akong makita good. So that's the scene of mga mga what do you call this, mga gwapo-gwapa kaniya to. All right. And then another one that I've just flashed right now. I'm sorry, I apologize. Pasensyahin na tanin yung naminaw ron sa atong broadcast over the radio frequency, the radio waves. Okay, naagyud ko'y chance to show on our YouTube. So I'm encouraging you also to follow, like, and subscribe to YouTube, so you could actually join us live at the same time while I'm broadcasting here on air, and I'm showing you what I'm about to show you. And not only about looking at me here as I broadcast, there are now very, very good AI depictions of how trading was in Cebu. I'm showing you right now because you might actually not, tapulan ka mo, mo search, ano ba? So I'm showing you right now here on our YouTube right now. Okay? So right now as I'm speaking, katong mga naminaw sa radyo, akong gipang flash dire. Unsay mga hulagway niya posible nga kuan. Kaning uban na akong ipakita, kaning makita na ninyo sa atuang National Museum. Pretty sure dito ko kita ko ani mismo. Uban ha, dili tanan. Nga akong gipang pakita, gi-flash na ko diri sa atuang YouTube live. Okay? Akong ipakita karon. Tagsa-tagsa lang nako. Okay, I mentioned to you, nindot man guning naagi tay makita gyud nga hulagway. It's not just about feeding your senses, but it's a little bit of help. I know you could always imagine, okay, what it looked like. Oh, by the way, I have missed on this item also that we are having available ng ipamaligya kaniadto. Kani siya sigurado gyud ko nga makahinumdom gyud mo ani, and I'm sure moagi kag liluan. I think liluan gyud na ako mahinumduman, no? You will see this. Muna siya gitawag og mga kaang pottery, everybody. Pottery. So the pottery industry was also there. Kaya nga naman, usaman po na siya kanang butang nga ato ang ginagamit not only for tubig, mga banga, no? Not only for container of our liquid drinking water, it is also for our burial. I'm not specific on Cebu, but in our tradition, apil na siya. Ang ato ang way of burial, ibutang ta sa banga. Okay? Ibutang ta sa kaang. And that, when mangutana ka yun, saan mo ka gipasok ka dito? Or kanang gisud ka dito? I'm sure kung imog yung buto na naon, naagyud tay, dagantag mga pamaagip sa una, we could have the cremation happen and also mummification. But depende po na siya, no? May kato igsulod na to sa ato ang banga. Right? That's the purpose of the banga nga gipambaligya po nila. Alright. Also container for whatever mga liquids ilang gipanggamit during that time. Okay? So that's basically the scenario. I'm flashing it diri sa YouTube, mga tigpaminaw na to diha. You might be wondering unsa niya akong gipang hisgot diri nga gi-flash na ko diri. That what do you call this? Akong gipang hisgutan that you are not relating so much, because I'm encouraging you as well to tune in and like and subscribe and go visit us here on our YouTube broadcast. Why? This is where our interactive is going on. I know you'd like to message me as well here in our mobile, right? So you could also message us. Once again, I'll try to air out. It's 0999-887-6070. I think a lot of chats are going on our Facebook here. Might not be able to read them all. But here we go. There are comments and posts happening right now. And let me try to look into that, by the way. Here. Let's see. But anyway, if you want, you can message us here. You can message YouTube. You can message the messenger. We're here. I mean, we're pretty ready to respond to you, and do what we have to do. Play your request here. Right. I haven't heard a lot of requests come in for now. Murag naminaw gyud mo that you're quite sincere with uh, with what I'm actually talking to you about over here. I think you've been really absorbed into our topic, that scenery. I'm sure a lot of you are visualizing already how everything looks like, and that's why I'm helping you out in our YouTube broadcast. I'm letting you see a little bit of those pictures that the Cebu trade and barter scene looks like. Okay, and if you might have some ideas, and maybe you have some stories to tell, I'm so happy and eager to listen to that. All right, okay. Kuan mo gud nga tuwa diri. It's not always about me sharing to you something about what I'm passionate about here, and to be able to connect you back to your roots in Gamut. It's also for me to open the floor for those who may have knowledge about all these. Like, I know a place over there in Cebu. I think diha na sa Hongkera extension, or if I'm not mistaken, ako salim. Kalimut ko sa which specific kalsada kanang mugawas ikan na mogi kag Santiago all the way to Colon. There's a hotel there I happen to know and happen to visit that is actually focused and primarily geared towards getting everybody to know our local heritage, and I particularly appreciate that venue over there. I think that's Palmgrass Hotel. Okay, and just a few of my friends shared to me about them, and yeah, I did try to visit them. Right, some of their events, they have really significant events that talks about our culture. Everybody. All right, so definitely our show is all about it. If you want to share topics and conversations, by the way, you can also message me in my own page. It's Bai Jaya. You can find that out, and you can also whatever subscribe and whatever share. You can look me up here, Bai Jaya, everybody. So in terms of discussions here, I'd like to fill this up with a lot of these topics, and that is one thing that I'm here about. I'm focused on, especially in this nighttime schedule. I know everybody's just chilling, just relaxing, and of course, all right, tuning in. How about that? Tuning in to TMC. And let me go back to the topic of what else are they selling over there in our marketplace, or we call tabuan. Okay, so there's, I think there's also the trade routes other than Chinese, Hindus, and Islam. Eventually, after after the 12th, 13th century, there are definitely that. And the international trade went on and furthered pag-abot sa mga Espanyol, because Espanyol came in, daghan na silang network. They got more networks that you could imagine. They have they were moving around so much that they have international trades happening in even towards Southeast Asia, other like Thailand, Java, okay, and again, I mentioned here as I look around, they moved around the Mindanao communities as well, like Sulu and the modern Maguindanao. Okay? Now, with the kaning atong mga gipang baligya, by the way. So, going back to what else are we selling? Kaning definitely alahas, no? Nagfog na atong tops na. It's now fogging here in Tops. I'm now starting to see clouds come down from the sky. All right. So we call this this gold porcelain. I'm sure people know na naagyo ng mga alahas kipamaligya pod kaniadto. Because we had also back then called the Metal Age, katong mga 1200 to 1400, no, of the current era. Nga ilahang gipang baligyaan ni mga something gitawag nila nga ceramics as well, sorry. Kitawag nila sa huin kalanay type of pots. And I mentioned niya dire, right? Aside from the mga alahas that we're having, and of course kanang mga they call it cowrie shells. Okay? Mo kuno na gigamit kuno nato nga medium nga currency exchange ba nga muna itong ipangbayad. Kanang cowries, it is made of gold, jade, quartz, and wood. Mo nang common kayo nga form of money kuno daw according to the the history here that I'm actually presenting to you about, all from different sources, by the way. Again, if you really need to know about the sources that I'm providing to you, aside from what I know about what I've studied and read before, feel free to message me. Okay, look me up, Bai Jaya, everybody. We can talk about it. All right, now the currencies, kaning coins nato, the coin system that we're using, the first local form of coinage in Cebu, ang term niya gitawag nila piloncitos. Of course, this now is the term itself sounds so Spanish, no? So this is, of course, during the era of the Spanish, no? Ang piloncito or pilonchito, whichever is the right term to say that, had a flat base bearing an embossed inscription like letters of Ma or M. Okay? Listen to that. And I'd like you to really pay attention here, everybody. Ma or M. Remember that the Chinese had a name for our country beforehand when they came here. Remember, they're settlers, they're traders. They called our place Mai. Mai, or you can say Mai. So, ang script, they used the Javanese script of the 11th century, okay? And it believed na kaning inscription was the name of the Philippines as known to Chinese traders. All right? Again, it's Ma or M. Ang nakabutang sa gitawag og piloncito. Right? The term piloncito sounds very Spanish, by the way. But anyway, muna siya ang atuang coinage or coin system nga gigamit aside from the cowrie shells. Okay? Let's try to look it up again later unsay hulagway niya. Okay, let me try to look it up here. Mo sa gining gamit kayo ning atong technology ba. All right. Let me try to look it up. For the benefit of those nga medyo visual kayo, naminaw na to diri and also tuned in here sa Tops Media Center on YouTube. Let's try to look it up. Cowrie shells. Okay. Kani. I'll try to put it up here. Murag mga sigay. I don't know if you could picture this out. Again, those of you who are just on our radio frequency, pasensya na, pero na ako'y gipang flash diri. I'm trying to flash these pictures that I have ikalap na ko, akong gipang pangita diri sa atong internet. That for us to provide our YouTube classmates, mura mo gud eskwelahan diri. Nga, doon na tayo mga pagtulunan. And of course, that's what I'm here for, no? And okay, medyo ubos-ubos gamay sa akong pagpakita na. All right, mo na siya ang itsura sa cowrie shells. That okay, you might see that ang makita nimo mga sigay. Kahinumdum buko sa akong iyaan ni adto. Akong iyaan nagsuon sa akong mama nga manghipos gyud na siya og sigay. Iya gyud ang isudog sako. Yang pangtaguan. Makes sense. I think because possibly murag na ingrained na nato in our tradition that there is value with the shells, everybody. There is value with the shells. Kabantay mo anang muadto mog dagat. Try to imagine this. Adto ninyo og dagat. Hingnakog nagtiaw ko pero kamo diha buhaton yun ninyo. Maglakaw-lakaw din mo sa baybayon, sa balas. Yeah. Tugsaw sa tubig. No? Yeah. Siyempre, magkuan-kuan din mo diha. Magkikiay diha. O sa inyohang pagtugsaw sa tubig, inyo ginang pang sikat-sikara ng mga bato diya, inyong isibog-sibog diya. Kay kayo ninyo gamay, kay para makakita mo og mga sigay. Di ba? Mhm.
Aba, matindi!
Mo ginay mahitabo gyud. Mangita mo og mga sigay or mga shell. Kay again, naagi tay value with these things. This was a coinage. This is a currency kaniadto pa. Okay? All right? And now a little bit of that is happening and a little bit of that information is getting into us. All right? Now we move on to how we somehow deal with this whole scenario nga magtapok-tapok. Okay, since we're talking about trade and barter sa Sugbu, diha pud sa trade and barter, I'm sure aduna po yung mga itawag ni mog mga hungihong, or let's no, not hungihong, but it's mga pagsadya. Okay? Kaning mga kasadya nga alantawon. Definitely we call that festivals. All right? Festivals in that trade site. So mga festivals, so mga gipang silibrar na to diri sa Cebu. All right? Ang pinaka ilado nga na, according to accounts of history, kaning sa atong lugar diha sa Daan Bantayan, higala, mga higala. Sa Daan Bantayan, na ay lugar diha nga gitawag og Kang Datu Daya. Right? I think everyone here knows Kandaya. Kangdaya. So gicall ang tanay. Shout out to people from Kandaya, no? Kandaya Resort. All right. So, well, I'd like to say hi and good evening to the people there. Martin Yong and whoever is managing right now that place. I know I know them because I happened to serve them before in Kandaya. Okay. So, I'd like to let you refresh your memory if you have, or if not, let you hear about this. Si Datu Daya, naaday na siya festival ko, no? Because he is a chieftain. A Datu is a chieftain. Nga inila na siya, bantugan na siya. Nga kaning festival was to celebrate his bravery and leadership. Kay involved maguna siya diha sa pagpausbong niya ng lugara and to protect the place as well. Kaning mga lugara, by the way, as I mentioned to you, katuning mga places at the outskirts, no? Daan Bantayan is the tipmost north tipmost sa Sugbu. All right? If you happen to picture the map, naanis pinakatumoy ang Daan Bantayan. O diha ang poste, diha ang kota. Kota is the name of the fortress of our elders before, of our chieftain. So diha ang lugar ni Datu, ang Kang Datu Daya, or Kang Daya. All right? So that's why if you go to Daan Bantayan, Kang Daya is very familiar and popular. And again, Kang Daya, congratulations for carrying that name. All right. Now, we have a lot more discussion about this whole scenery of pre-colonial Cebu. Ug unsa kaniadto. All right? Ang trade and barter. So kaning trade and barter naabot dito sa tumoy. When you say north of Cebu, according to our old Bisaya language, we call that Nahalin. Okay? Nahalin. And then the south of Cebu, we call that Sialo. All right? So north is Nahalin, south is Sialo. According to the elders of Cebu who came here, the Austronesians who arrived here, and the names that are popular is Sri Raja Mudalumay. Okay? And, he has sons and he assigned them to those two places. And si Datu Daya was a little bit on the later end na niabot. All right? Now, I'd like to go back to the discussion more and then share to you more. But of course, we like to hear out some more music for you, man. And that's mainly because we are a radio station. And I'm also here to play some songs for you. But if you want to interact with me, chat or let me know your comments, suggestions, and whatever it is under the moon at this time, let me know. 0999-887-6070. somehow, murag, mauwaw pa siguro mo text na ko. Ay, kauwaw. Pwede naman mag-text mate. Di man niya ang common man nga number. So, di ra ko mapaso sa akong asawa ni. Dili ra ko get in trouble. Di ra ko ma-trouble ani sa akong asawa, right? Because di ba niya akong number. Kani nga number is the station's number. Okay. So, feel free to message me over there. And you could also chat with me here. Kani siya very obvious. It's in our YouTube page at Tops Media Center. You can message me at Tops Media Center. And our chat room, feel free to interact with me. And you're tuned in right now. We're broadcasting 24/7 everywhere around the world through our topsmediacenter.com website. Online web radio. Okay? You can hear from us. You can review the shows. I mean, you can listen to us 24/7 over there. But in our radio frequency, I guess it's about 10 p.m. As the same time, I'm about to sign off. Kanang mo manamilit na ko diri. The same time, you will now, not hear anymore ang atuang pagsibya. All right, so to listen for more music here, I'd like to go back to the playlist we have a little bit. Getting on a little kanang murag mahog nga ako ang pagsibya ninyo karon medyo taas-taas. So for the meantime, may sa tag mga duyog dirig tugtog sa itong mga higala. Here's one from South Vibes featuring Angelo Rudy. Igo-igo ginis panahon na to diri og asa ko nahimutang. South Vibes, si Ron Mark akong higala diri kauban sa TMC. Here we go. Close ka na daw. Yes. Close. Let's see. And let's hold it. Oh. Did it pop out? It's auto. It's auto, right?
.1 TMC Survives It featuring Angelo Rudy sa kantang Pabukid. Pabukid. Nagot na diri sa bukid good. Diba?
Nato diri sa top of Cebu, right? And that song, shout out to my brother here sa TMC is Ron Mark. Everybody, shout out Ron Mark. Na ato ang higala diri nga kauban nato nga he's making sure everything technically is sound on our end here. All right, and again, if you've just tuned in to us right now here at TMC, we are having the show called Gamut, ang ato ang tulumanon, and ang ato ang inungdan nga nung naaning tulumanon like this here is for us to root you back to our heritage, root you back to our identity and our culture. TMC is the most Cebu, everybody, and we ought to be that. We ought to really work towards going back to our roots, our identity. Okay? That's what Gamut is all about as well. Okay? And happening every Tuesdays and Fridays with me, inyuhang Bai Jaya. That would be my role to facilitate this. And I'm sure later on, with the rest of my topics that we're going to handle, the topics that we'll be holding, we will be inviting some guests over here. And that will be, these are significant individuals that will hold on a lot of information nga makatabang-tabang, no? Sa ato ang mga ipanghisgutan, ato mga panghisgutan dire na umaabot, no? O sa umaabot. You look for, tune in to us and, catch us with that. Ang ato ang mga shows later on. Aside from that, we have shows happening every day, daily here. Weekdays with the morning show. We got the top of the morning with our by Jiggy Juice and by Justin. And we also have Kuya Magic's Magic Hour. Matag-udto sa MWF, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. It's happening here at TMC. And we also have, I think, the young guy, student here, another host we have here, and our Sir Mimo Osmeña with Lamdag. Para malamdagan mo kanunay. So we got shows all across the week, and we also even have special shows happening. And for those of you who's just not familiar yet, but we are having podcasts also. We are going to be a record label, and I'm not bragging this out because this is really happening already, okay, as we speak. And for artists, make sure that you bookmark us. You let us hear about you because this is your time. This is your space. This is our venue here at Tops Media Center. This is where we air out our music. This is a space for us to know each other. And our role, ako nga pong bahin dire, kami nga mga tig sisibya o mga tig pamaba, we're also having that role to definitely promote you on air here. Our local Cebu Sugbuano music here is all we care about. Okay, the rest we can promote at the same time, but our priority is our local artists and music. All right. Again, if you need to air out comments and suggestions, you can message me here. You can go to our YouTube broadcast live. We got a chat group going on. You go to Tops Media Center. Tops Media Center. And we also have our radio at topsmediacenter.com, which is happening right at this moment. And if you missed that, feel free to air the replay. Go to that YouTube page we have, like, subscribe, and click the bell button to get your notification. And you can look into us, look into our shows, and listen to us right there. Okay? So we're always here. All right? We are available for you. And that's basically what we are here at TMC. Okay. So going back to the topic that I was, mentioning to you, and that the title of our topic today is Trade and Barter sa Sugbu. And of course, I've been flashing out some pictures here on our YouTube broadcast live. And pasensya na kayo sa mga naminaw on our radio frequencies because you're not seeing what we're seeing here. So let me know, what is in your in your vision. What do you remember? Or what have you heard about Cebu and the scenery of trade and barter? Okay? And this episode that we have for the Gamut show tonight is definitely talking about it. Unsay hitsura, unsay hulagway sa atuang kalakal, sa atong pagpamaligya kaniadto diri sa dakbayan sa Sugbu. Okay, now I was just sharing earlier, again, pwede ninyo review ang atong show. You can look back to us. You can look back to what we're talking here. Akong gihisgutan. Feel free and you can review that live broadcast, no? But right now, let me go back to ato ang mga gipambaligya. And I've already mentioned to you, pottery, even went into the slaves ng ipamaligya. My God, it's not really a good sight to see if you see these things happening, but that's the old ways, mga karaan pagid ba. And we just give that benefit of the era that they're a part of. So let's say when you were there, imagine that, okay, that tabuan, the term nga nailan na tong merkado, it's actually tabuan. And definitely, the tabo word, I don't know if gigamit pa na ninyo ron. I don't know if naapabay na gamit sa word nga tabo. Okay? Diris kulon natin gitawag og tabo sa banay. Okay? Kaya numdum mo ana, kinsa ninyo ang mga nahinumdum pa sa tabo sa banay na duol na sa metro. Okay? Naata diha. Naatay tabo sa banay. And when you go to the provinces, ang ilahang kanang gitawag nato karong merkado, they call it tabo. Okay? And it doesn't happen like daily. Naagi na sila schedule nga mga naog to ang mga farmers, mga namuhi og hayop, go down on the tabo and they put their items there for sale. Gitawag po na nato iladlad na nila. Okay? Iladlad nila ang ilahang ipamaligya. So these are the sceneries and how it's called and the terms. So kaniadto when we discuss these things, siyempre na sila nagsugod na ilang ekonomiya that time. Okay? And the economy sa kaniadto kay siyempre trade and barter. Unsay imuhang item, unsay imuhang naa ka nga na value. Usually imo na siyang i-exchange. Right? I-exchange nimo. Let's say prior to the coinage system, katong naghatag na sila og value sa Seychelles, o katong pilonsito. Prior to that, it was more of like unsay value ana imong gidaladala nga butang. Ay imong gustong i-barter. Okay? Kaniadto it exists. That's why we're very popular with the trade and barter system before pre-colonial days. So ang atong economy was already there that time. Mga merchants, mga traders in laing lugar sa Southeast Asia are there. Ang mga lugar, China, India, Indonesia, and muna nga, katulagi, apil ng mga gold, mga ornaments, no, decorative kaayo, they're selling that over there. Ilan ang gibaligya. Maayong gabi, ni mo diha, Joel Lem, maayong gabi diha sa welcome. I don't know if you just arrived or naminaw na kaganina. Welcome aboard. Yeah. Atong gihisgutan diri Joel Lim is about trade and barter sa Sugbu. Maybe you know anything about it. You might wanna air that out. Maybe put out what is on your mind. Okay, medyo everybody else has been really intent in listening right now. Hilom kayo. Everybody's quite silent today. Huh? I think so. All right. So let's go back, no? That naanay the economy already started that time, right? Because you have already the goods coming in and out, and there's also the value system established, right? And now when you look at the way the currency went, moto nga ang nasugod tong katong cowrie shells, na kinumdum na ko si golden cowrie. So the cowrie shells nga gina butangan og value as a coin system, and then eventually pilonchitos, it became the currency as well. Then we moved into the monato na abot na to mga kaning skadako. I think that's a little bit later na gid for sure, pero mono nato nabdan. Of course gold is there as well. It's made of gold. Yeah, here we go. Nanay ng tampo diri akong classmate yun si Dan Bryan. Nakabasa ko na siya sa history of trading. Ang Cebu is a major trading point. Yeah, ganina Dan, naghisgot ko na ganina, pagsugod pa lang, nganong nasugdan yun nato ning trade and barter nga topic is because ilado bantugan yun ang Sugbu. Gawas sa Sugbu, naapod ang Butuan. Butuan is also an established trading point in our country sa atong kapuluan. Mo gina atong gihisgutan diri. Alright? So ang atoang mga something common sa kaniadto pero very notable kaayo is that ang atong gipanggamit nga mga items like gold o unsa pa nang atong gipangbuhat diha nga syempre sa atong lawas, no, body art, gold yun, bulawan, or we call dulaw as well, or dulaw is yellow but bulawanon ang ato ang mga gipang adorno atong gipang, because we are so abundant with gold, man. Happen to think about it, we are abundant with gold, right? And right now ang gold na to ato nang ipamaligya. Atong gold ato nang ipamaligya. Yeah, just airing out my mind. No, pasensya na kayo. I get into that point also of just pure conscious state nga. Mobahin po gunin nyo sa akong gibati. So, in terms of gold, what ay problema kaniyad to? And akong gihisgot diri, kinsa may mamaligya. Nga kinsa may magbutang anang mga ipang baligya diya sa mga tindahan, sa mga barter and trade nga places. Ang asa ng tabo na to, asa man na ipangladlad. Kinsa may bantayan. Remember that women, ang mga kababaihan nato kaniadto, were actually very significant nga naagi tay dakong gitawag na to og pagrespeto. Respeto niini nila, no? Ako pagtahod sa mga babae. Okay, mismo sila naagi na sila yung mga positions kaniadto. And power definitely has power as well. Huh? Sa mga babae diha, again, I always remind you, please understand, especially kaning mga gitawag na itong mga feminists, that Sugbu has a high regard to women back in the days, and even until now, maybe. I'll leave that as an open discussion right now. Okay? So, the people then, ang atuang hitsura na mga, siyempre, isla, buta diha, mga nagpangka, we already settled, no? And ako itong ipamaligya na to, na buwad, na isda, okay? We definitely know the ways of the ocean. Kabaw kita managat. Kabaw ta munguha og unsay angay kaunon, unsay di kaunon kay balon na taana. And so, it doesn't also mean nga tungod lang na puro rapod na seafood sa makita nimo diha. We also have crops and plants and so on and so forth nga edible. Nga mga gitawag na to og mga lagutmon. We also have that for sale. We also have that available, mga lagutmon. Kana the word itself, ang pamulong itself. The lagutmon is being made available. Mo gini ang kusog kayo nga ilang ipangbutang diha, mga saging, katong dagagliso ha. Root crops, kaning kamote, balanghoy, naagi na kaniadto pa. Kala mo, kana sila. Kanang mga pagkaon na to nga ipangbutang sa tabo. So, moving forward, aside from that, naatay mga gipanggamit sa pagpanagat, itawag nagsalambaw. Muna siya ang usa ka gigamit pang panagat ba. No? Kung gamito na nila kanang salambaw, panagat, kanang gabii, no? Ginagamit na nila. Sa pa yung mga pamaligya diha. Kaning, siyempre, nagisgot na ko ninyo nga na ay katong nga, bantugan nga mga festival nga magsadya sila. Unsa pa yato ang angay hisgutan diha, no? Ang pamaligya mo na humana hisgutan na nako. And this is my final hour, by the way. I'm trying to review whatever I mentioned and shared to you that it is notable here sa Cebu. Nga atong angay hisgutan, no? And I want to wrap up a little early today nga ang ato ang pre-colonial trading sa Sugbu kaniadto napuno gyud sa kaanyag, kangilngig niya. Even it's a complex phenomenon kay ang ato ang mga traders, no, gikan sa China, India, and Southeast Asia nga how we all coexist sa una nga wag gubot ba. Way gubot. Butang na sa inyo huna-huna nga kaniadto. So wala pa ta mo tugpahi diri sa mga Espanyol nga giangkon ta. We were coexisting already. Ang trade and barter system was already there. And we have our form of currency, we have a form of value systems, and the way we regard of each other, of offering these values or these goods are highly given importance. So as we look into the modern times and have a little contrast with the previous times, katong pre-colonial times, mo na ni karon ang ganang mga gitawag ni og pop-ups. Kanang mga pop-ups, by the way. Alright? Kung makabantay ka, kanang pop-up culture is our way of kind of like putting the tabo sa banay into a modernized way. Kabantay mo, kusog ng pop-up culture na to. Alright? Dili na siya dayo nga pamagi. Atua na. I would gladly connect and link that up. Kanang pop-ups na nanghitabo karon is also somehow our way of doing things. It is a remnant of what was before the what you called the trading. The trading, right? So as I bring you back and get you there in that vision and a little bit of reminding of how we all started, because Sugbu, and I'd like to share this part of the story where how we came about with the name Cebu. Okay? How we came about with the name Cebu. Giunsa ni pagsugod. Di ba Sugbu? Sugbu magyud ang tawag niya nato ni sa ato ang isla, kumbaga. Sa ngalan sa naguna diri nga nangulo diri itong Sri Lumay nga iyang gitawag ni Sugbu. But why did it become Cebu? No? When did it start becoming Cebu? So, kanang Cebu, the word Cebu comes from a longer, medyo taas-taas ni siya. Sinibwelang hingpit. Okay? Sinibwelang hingpit or sinibwelang hingpit. Ang but pasabot ni ana, according to the way it was defined, sinibwelang hingpit, sabot, diha maghitabo ang mga kalakaran, pamaligya, or trading, and the whole major landmark we are as a major trading point. Cebu comes from Sinibuilang Himpit. That's why Cebu is the term that describes us as a trade and barter point here in our country. Okay? That's how it became Cebu. Pero kung buot yun doon naon, tagaan itong pagtagad, nga ang pangalan yun sa isla, Sugbu. Okay? Sugbu yun ang pangalan. But it became Cebu as a means for describing it as a major trading point, according to Don Bryan. Okay? As a major trading point that is renowned all across Asia and the Pacific. Okay? As a group of islands, as an archipelago, we are. And that's why we were able to connect the maritime network kanang mga panagatan isla gud ta. Diri gyud nato na sila na hatagan og maayong pagbansay-bansay sa paglayag, sa pag-navigate to get into a smaller group of islands. Okay, dugol-dugol ta diri kumpara sa uban, no? Uban dagkong isla. So, ang ato ang paggamit sa atong currency, ang sa pag-coexist nato sa usag-usa, it is already a major achievement at that time. Okay? I'd like to commend and really salute and pay my respect to our ancestors here in our land. Gitawag na to Sugbu, and now modernly described as Cebu, as that description of a major trading point. And that's why, I guess you read the newspapers here. Let me try to review that. What is the current, what do you call this, Cebu income? It's actually very high, by the way. Have you heard about that? Sino kay Bauron update sa one? Ang economic right now sa Cebu. I think I've read that one time. Nagian na ako that. Okay. Anybody knows what is the current? I think naabot na tag trillion. Trillion. We are now trillion in, I don't know, if I'm correct, it's GDP. Okay. if I'm not mistaken. Let me try to correct that. Let me try to. Okay. This is 2023. I'd like to see the data in 2024. But here, Maminawa, the province of Cebu includes Cebu City, and the total economy of Central Visayas in 23 has a GDP of 1.38 trillion, man. Wow. Imagine that. And that's 24.9 billion USD. Whew. That's 2023. Asa man 2024? Gabasa ko sa 2024 trillion gihapon. Muna atong kuan bay. Muna atong income ro mga panahon na mga bay. So to say that Cebu is a province, coming from those that are from Manila, not anymore, man. We're catching up with this very small island, and the Tri-Cities now growing into more cities. But the three major Tri-Cities that has contributed a lot. God. Cebu, man. We've grown. We've grown pretty much. And I'd like to say my congratulations to everybody who played a part here on our economic growth. Ain't that something to be proud about here in Cebu? Diba? Ain't that something to be very, we call this patriotistic about in our island? And again, to support each other, to promote it. Okay? This is something about Cebu that we really need to boost and even boast. Panghambog ba? Nga, naa natay agi. No? Di na ni basta-basta nga sinibuanong binisaya nga bakya ang unsa inyong ipangunahuna. Cebu is where we are right now. A lot of people are flocking in, a lot of people are moving in, and even somehow migrating in Cebu. Muna nga kita ninyo, ako lang ihatag as a bit of a sharing, kita ninyo, let's try to also be participative pod panghigala. Diba? Let's try to be participative with this movement right now. Kinanglan na tamo participate. Let's try to be more initiating. Kinanglan na ta nga unsa gani mga projects diri, let's say your local government unit, support that. Okay? Support it. Try to look around you in your communities, even if you're living in a subdivision or village, ask around your village leaders, I would say, and ask what are the projects there. By the way, we're going to come up with some discussions here in Gamut all about the state and the condition of our city and what are the steps and measures that are being done with the people that are given the task to look after it. I'd like to share that, and for sure, I think that's will be next week. I'll bring a good friend over here, a good brother over here, and we're going to discuss about that. And tune in to us next week, especially in Gamut. And aside from all the shows we have, we will be talking about the state and status of our city. And the first topic that we will be discussing may be very significant to you. And this was on the headlines, everybody. This was on the headlines. This was on the headlines, major headlines. It's about our waste in the city. Definitely we need to talk about it. And I'm bringing a friend over, and I'll do that announcement possibly on Tuesday, who will be joining me on that show. That will be very important topic and discussion that will air here in Gamut. And I would like you to look forward to hearing that from us. All right, sorry. You will be hearing that from us next Friday. So let's try to keep it here, keep it stuck, keep it connected, and kanunay nga paminaw diri ni aning atong mga kanta o mga ipang patukar kay mo gining ato mo po ni hinungdan nga naa ni diri, di ba? And so padayon ta sa atong mga tugtog ug
Music has found a home. 105.1 TMC, the best of us.
What a 5.1 TMC. Gamut with Bai Jaya here on the nighttime show diri sa TMC. Kato silang takantaha sa South Thrill. Tilaw Ra featuring Jake Lord. Okay? That was Cookie and muna ilahang ipatilaw ka na to. Right? Bakit ta sa ito ang ipanghisgutan? And again, si Bai Jaya diri mga higala naghatag kaninyo o paghatag o pahigayon para ma-review, mabalik na to ang atuang pagkat-on sa atong kinaugalingon and our own, our practices and our heritage here sa Gamut. My final hour stretch, I guess I have about half an hour with you, and definitely the topic that I've started and began with here in Gamut is about trade and barter sa Sugbu. And naa na siya dako kayong connection even to that term. Mo na siya ang gigikanan sa ato ang itawag og Cebu. Okay? As the major trading point. Or asa ang mga kasagaran gipang baligya, by the way. Okay? So this is going out to everybody who's tuned in here in TMC. Okay? That we are the most Cebu. And we discuss everything about Cebu. The best things that you want to hear about Cebu is from us here. Not just the music, not just the trend, the events, but also the heritage of Cebu. And that's what we are here for. And shout out to everybody who's joined in with me in the discussion. Our friends here on YouTube, our classmates, our mga bay na to, who's here, Bert, Ramil, Jerry, Joel Lim, Dan Brian, catched up. Thank you, kayo ninyo, because you really made this discussion even more heated up, or even upgraded. Okay, because this is about contribution also. Ang ato akong pag-ambag-ambag ba, pag-pitch in sa ato ang mga nahibalaan, because there's no right and wrong here, man. It's about what is your contribution. Kung sa imuhang ika-ambit, imong ipa-ambit ba? Muna yung ato ang importante rin. We really don't mind whatever it is that you give us as an information. But definitely it helps to have this whole discussion, have it more clarity. No? Na mapuno ba, kumbaga. Alright? So if you try to imagine right now na ako sa lugar na ubay-ubay gid ba nga naagi mga, I know it's not this silent medyo hilom rin siya, but this, if you've heard this on the background kanina, this is basically how a marketplace would pretty much sound like. Pretty much sound like here. Everybody here talking, and maybe another one here like to play. Kuyog na to, no? And because I was talking about the topic about the scenery, ang hulagway sa mga tabo kaya to. Alright? Tabo, tabuan, tabo sa banay. Tabo means that it is the trading center, mercado, the market. And now, moving forward, we call it pop-ups. We call it pop-ups. That's the modern evolution of how our trading and trade and barter is happening here in Sugbu. All right? The topic in Gamut is mainly that. And I'd like to greet everybody who's tuned in right now who have their own pop-ups. I couldn't mention you all, but I believe a lot of my friends are involved with a lot of pop-ups right now. And if you are able to hear this and hear our frequency at 105.1, we are saying our hi and thank you for providing everybody a field of just providing whatever they need. May it be refreshment, may it be the culinary experience, may it be an item, may it be an apparel, a fashion. So this is all that's there right now. But the topic that we aired tonight is a little bit of a looking back of how it looked like before, how it seemed before, how it felt before. And a little bit of picture I showed here on YouTube. You can check it out. I think you can just type it, whatever the topic that we mentioned today. You will have an actual like illustration nga kung sa itsura ba sa kaning atong hulagway ba sa mga tabo kaniadto. Mo na atong gipang isgutan, by the way. All right? Again, a little bit more minutes I'm here right now before we go off air and just continue on our frequency. No, not necessarily our frequency, but continue on our website with the music. I'd like to just say all my thanks to everybody who's participated and contributed right now, and even tuned in and stayed with us and stayed and listened to this conversation. All right, it's a conversation for me and you who's just listening. It's a conversation daw. Kaning panagisgot, panagtabi, panagkinabi. Later on, again, akong gi-mention here is that I will bring over, magdala ko diri og mga higala na mga bantugan, mga ilado sa ilahang mga nagkadaiyang mga pagkahanas, you know, their expertise in their fields And again, I'd like to do a promotion ahead of time. Nga mahitabo na sa sunod Pitlaw. Pitlaw means week. On the next week, I will invite a guest over. Nga atong hisgutan ang mga kayuhan og mga estado o mga sitwasyon sa atong katilingban sa Sugbo and unsay gibuhat sa mga opisina nato, let's say sa gobyerno, mga NGOs, kaning akong higala, kauban din ako dito. And I'm not gonna give you a full detail of that until Tuesday. I'll see you again over here in our show, atong tulumanon gitawag nato Gamut, diri sa TMC. I will give you that update on the next week. Takna karong gabiuna ikasiyam og tulo ka pulok walo sa kagabion ang mga higala. It's 9:38 in the evening, and again, I'm here until 10. I'm not gonna be able to stay up till 10 and just talk. I'll just let you listen to the music right now, okay? And saying hi and hello to everybody who's in Consolacion right now at this time. Mayong gabi o mayong pagpaminaw ninyo diha. Okay? Salamat kayo nga naminaw ang mga taga Mandaue. I'd like to say shout outs to all the major tri-cities right now. Cebu, Lapu-Lapu, and Mandaue. I'd like to say hi and hello to all of you over there. Mayong gabi kanyong tanan. Right, to all of you and all of you who's driving and maybe listening and tuning in to our 105.1 tonight. Good evening, mayong gabi, pag-amping, and take it easy. Kalmaha imong pangunahuna, ayaw init ang ulo, and to those of you who's in all the different places, especially those who are on the workplace right now, in the workplace. Sa mga gitawag nato business process outsourcing, mayong gabi ninyo diha sa companies in Cebu, especially in IT Park, in where else? In Cebu Business Park, where else? In Oak Ridge Park. We got plenty of outsourced business process right nowadays. Pero daghan na jud kayo, and we know that we are growing, but again, what I encourage with everybody here is participation. And we look forward that everybody is participating much in the whole progress of the city. Okay? Because this is important that if we don't try to work together, no matter unsa to katong gipangisgot na mga kaayuhan diri sa Sugbo nga atong naabtan ba sa kadugay panahon, unsa man ganito kanindot ug kita diri mo padayon ra tag iya gihapon. Okay?
Padayon gyapon tag iya-iya sa ato ang mga binuhatan ug dili ta mag-usa sa ato ang mga tinguha. There wouldn't be really much going on in terms of progress, I would say. Okay? And because this is an important part of a societal responsibility is to really take part and be proactive. Kanang a word nga proactive ba? Kanang apil-apilon ka ba? Kanang apil-apilon ka sa mga butang-butang. Kanang mga kanang batasana nanay say maayo pod nga mga agi. Apil-apilon. Mas may nang mag-apil-apilon ta labaw na sa mga kaayuhan kay madama sa gas kaayuhan. Diba? Apil-apilon gas kaayuhan, madapog gas kaayuhan. And generally, this message goes out to everyone who's tuned in or listening in our show. Okay? Gamut is all about bringing you back to your home, bringing you back to your Sugbu. I'd like to leave you with a song for now here, Julia, featuring Jericho Strigan here. With Unspoken 13. Here, Gamut, Bai Jaya, TMC, the best of us.
I don't.
Wrap up na ko ba? Hinahinay na ta. Thank you so much sa inyong pagtampo tonight. Ipos talaga naman naman.
How about sound Western? What does it take? That's 105.1 TMC over here. Bisaya talaga po na sila mga bay. But they really sound Western. And another thing I want to share to everybody that's tuned in on our show tonight, we have evolved, no? Ang atong mga duyog, atong mga tugtog karong mga panahon na has definitely evolved. Kapantay mo nga, we've been playing here at TMC that somehow a lot of our music sounds foreign. Dili murag di na taga diri, no? Ang mga kinantahan more on they really sound from from another country, not outer space. Not from outer space. Right, so ang atuang mga gipang patukar and everything is local. Let's just let you know. The artists that we have available, mostly local. And if you're an artist, by the way, feel free to message or let us have your content, your material. If you want to promote your song, visit us here. We're all open, arms open right here, arms open wide. Let us know so we can actually help you out and have the rest of Cebu hear you out over here, man. Everything that we are all about is for you to get your chance and your opportunity. Okay? I want you to know, we want you to know that here is your space, right? You can play your music here. Let us know. Message us. Okay. Time is now 8 or 9:47. Okay? Takna karon alas 9:47. Siyam o 4:07 sa gabi. Karong panahona diri sa Tops Media Center, TMC, Most Cebu. Pinakasugbuanong sibianan sa dakbayan sa Sugbu. Uban ang inyong Bai Jaya diri sa tulumanon nga gamut. Paggamot, ang pag-root sa inyong own heritage, in your own culture, ang sa imong pagkasugbuanon. And again, we have all channels available that I have been repeating so many times. Balik-balik diri. Nga naatas YouTube, kung ganahan mo, magsibya ta, mag-isgutay ta, magtabi ta. Chat group here is open. Okay? We have the YouTube at Tops Media Center and ang atua pong website. Pwede sa kamaminaw diha. We're on 24/7 wherever you are in the world. And if you want to message me or message anytime, especially when the DJ is on board, it's at 0999-887-6070 for your requests and comments, or as we are airing out a topic and we are promoting something, you message us. Maybe you have some suggestions and so on. Let us hear from you. And of course, you want a request. No problem. Any of those that I mentioned to you, let us know. Like by Bert here. Akong suod higala diri nga classmate sa YouTuber. YouTuber naman ba? We have a song. Of course, we're going to try to look into that. And the good thing is we're not limited to what we have on our playlist. Okay? We can look it up. Again, we have a search streaming platform here that if we might not have that song available on our, we call this the, what do you call this? Our playlist. We'll look it up. By the way, Bert, ako lang pangutana, si Mutaka, si Keso, this request specifically, Bisaya ba niya? I'm going to kind of like clarify that. Kay, again, bag-ura ko nag-istorya diri binisaya. Anya, mapatukar de taga dayuhan diri. Let me just try to get some clarification here. Bert. Kinsa man ni sila, Bert? Okay? Let me know. Si Keso, which band is this? Is this Cebuano? Let me know. If they okay, I'm looking it up. Oh yeah. I'm looking it up. Keso is a Filipino rock band. That is a vintage day. Okay. Right. So they were called Cheese before 1994. Okay. And they were popular during that time. Sige daw. Let's try to play this song. Everybody, this goes out to my good classmate Bert here. No problem. Filipino, once in a while. Let's play that. Here you go. Here's a song from Keso C. And that was, I think, nakaabot pa good si by Bert. The final song request for the night. I would say, nakasud yun atong higala nga Bert. Congratulations, Bert. Og dagang salamat diha nimo. And to the rest of our YouTube chat room classmates, saludo ko ninyo kanunay. Dagang salamat. And again, ang inyong alagad diri sa Gamut nga tulumanon, our show Gamut, matag Martes ug Biyernes, alas 7 hangtod alas 10. Bai Jaya mga higala. If you want to follow me, Bai Jaya also, you can look me up. And Ako ang tinguha, my cause is to get you back on track diri sa Sugbu. And daghang salamat kanunay to everybody who's tuned in still up till now. Thank you. Daghang salamat. Bai Jaya here, everybody, sa pagpanamilit diri sa tulumanong Gamut. Maayong gabi ug babanam kebalam gugma kanunay sa tanan. Maayong gabi sa tanan. Thank you. I'm leaving you here with Skunky Muggles for a song tomorrow morning. Rise and shine! TMC, the best of us!
Wake up, it's already 8 o'clock. You have to go to the shop to pick up some stuff. Quick, and don't be late.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to go off now from the live.